Filming by yourself doesn't mean you can't get interesting B-roll shots. Here are 11 easy cinematic B-roll shots that you can get the next time that you film for your YouTube video. And the only things that you'll need is an iPhone and a tripod. So the first shot that we're gonna be doing is a slow pan from left to right or right to left, whatever you prefer. And if you're shooting by yourself, obviously you're not gonna be able to stand on one side, record yourself, and physically like pan to the side if you're the subject in the video. So what we're gonna do is I'm going to show you how you can achieve this type of creative shot by yourself and you're the subject in your video. So we're gonna go ahead and sing this out. I'm going to link this tripod down below because I love it. You can use a camera on it or you can detach it and put this on so that you can use it for your phone. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go ahead and go into video mode. You wanna make sure that you're filming in the highest quality possible. I'm gonna go ahead and put 4K and 60 because if I want to slow this down for B-roll, then I can. I'm gonna go ahead and hit 0.5x, and for me, I have the iPhone 14. So if you have something more advanced than that, I would go ahead and just use the most zoomed out version possible, which I think it is going to be 0.5, but I could be wrong. But I only have the iPhone 14. So this is what it's gonna look like. I'm gonna go ahead and place this in front of you guys. And then what you're gonna do is you're just gonna hit record and then go do whatever you're gonna do. So I'm gonna walk over here and I probably won't get the walk-in shot, but maybe just me working. So I'm gonna go ahead and pretend like I'm working. And that's it. You don't have to get much in this part or in this shot, but just enough maybe. So this is only 30 seconds long. We're gonna cut it down to where it's way shorter. So what you'll do is if you're using CapCut and whatever program you're using, you're just gonna go ahead and drag the clip down to your timeline. So this is what's going to look like when it's on your timeline, just something super simple. And then what we'll do here is you're just going to edit down to where you want it to start and end. So for me, I already want to be sitting down. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this up. So I will go ahead and split it right here, delete the beginning, and then I'm gonna go ahead and find the end that I want to clip it at. So let's say I want to clip it right here, and then I'll go ahead and delete the end of it. And then now what you can do is you can zoom in if you want. I typically like to stretch it out just so I can see what I'm working with. And then I'm gonna start at the beginning. So make sure you bring your line all the way to the beginning and click on your clip. And then from here, you're gonna go ahead and zoom in where you want it to start when it comes to the pan. So let's say I wanna start right here, or maybe even a little bit more inwards. You can zoom in as much as you want. And then maybe I want to start it right here, just so that it's not too busy on the left-hand side. You're gonna go ahead and select the diamond at the top of your transform section. So if it's closed, it'll look like this. If it's open, it will look like this. But though there will be a few diamonds for you to select, you're gonna go ahead and select the one that's right next to transform. And then from here, you're going to bring this all the way to the end. And then you're gonna go ahead and drag this to where you want the zoom to pretty much end. And then once you do that, one of the diamonds will go ahead and highlight. So the position is what changed, everything else pretty much stayed the same. So if we were to play this back, oh, let me actually mute this. So if you watch it from the start, this is what the zoom looks like. And so since this clip ended up being 14 seconds long, you can keep it like that and save this as B-roll in your own library. And then when you want to actually use it for B-roll, you can select which part of the video you want. So maybe if I'm using it for a YouTube video, I can go ahead and clip it right here, delete that, and then maybe I'll clip it right here, delete that. So then the clip is only 3 seconds long, which B-roll is never that long. It's never like 15 seconds long or anything. 3 seconds is a good amount of time for a clip of B-roll to be used. So then if you press play, this is what the pan from side to side looks like. So then you don't have to actually go in by yourself, or like you don't have to have someone with you recording you side to side physically with your camera. You can actually just zoom out of your footage, or zoom out with your camera, record yourself, and then in editing, you're gonna go ahead and zoom in and then basically add keyframes, which we did. We added a keyframe at the beginning and the end, and then we created this effect as if we are panning in our video. So that's how you're gonna go ahead and edit that. So for this next shot, we're gonna go ahead and get a peeking shot. So what this means is there's gonna be something in your foreground, which means there's something kind of close to the lens, kind of like how my hand is. So this would be the foreground, and what's in focus is me, and what's a little blurred out is going to be what's in the foreground. So we're gonna find a different angle of myself in my office, and then we're gonna go ahead and get a peeking shot. And I'll go ahead and start recording on here just so that you can see what it looks like as I'm setting up the shot. But you don't always have to use a tripod for this unless you need to. So for this one, I will not use my tripod. I will go ahead and take it off my tripod and then just place it somewhere it'll fit. Make sure that you tap on the subject of the video. So I'll be at the computer. I go ahead and tap on the computer, and then I will come back over here and just pretend like I'm working again. Okay, and that's it. So now for this next shot, you're not going to need a tripod. You're just going to need your phone, and if you have a phone case, that would work perfectly. But this is going to be a point of view simulation shot, which pretty much in my terms means that it's going to be coming from your perspective, and you're going to do what you're going to be doing based on your perspective. So we're going to go ahead and actually take the phone case out, and what will work really well for this is a loose t-shirt. So we're going to find a loose t-shirt and utilize that. Okay, so this is my loose t-shirt. I am not putting all the way on just because I didn't want to, but I hung it around my neck. So it's a JJK. If you're a fan, you're a fan. So what you're going to do is you're going to flip the camera so that on screen you can see your point of view, I guess. So you can see yourself here. And then we're going to go ahead and take the phone case, put it inside our shirt, and then place the phone in the front. And just basically put it together. Okay, so this is what it looks like. And then obviously you're gonna adjust it so that it's sitting properly and not sitting all strangely. So for me, I think like this would be good. And then we're gonna go ahead and flip the camera. So it's like that. And I think we're good. So we're gonna go ahead and hit record. You wanna make sure it's in the highest settings possible. So I'll put 4K at 60. You don't even have to put 60, you can put 4K at 30 and then hit record. And then do your thing. Okay, so now that we got that done, the next shot is going to be a POV shot from an object. So for me, it's going to be probably my computer screen. It'll give me like kind of like a webcam vibe, or I'm thinking maybe the shelf underneath my computer screen, maybe my keyboard. We'll see. We'll play around and see what I like best. But pretty much you're just going to go ahead, open up your camera. You're going to switch it to this side and make sure that you are in the front camera, and then you're going to record so you can get the best quality video possible. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So for that shot, I did two different shots. I did one at 1.0x and 0.5x. When I reviewed the footage, I really liked the 0.5x better because I could see a little bit more. So if you want to record it like that, I definitely recommend to do so. Now, if you are enjoying what you're watching so far, and if you're really learning a lot, then go ahead and like this video and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out on future content. But for the next shot, we're gonna go ahead and get a walk by. And so that can be from the floor, that can be from afar, just depending on your setting. But for me, since I'm recording in my office and my office is pretty small, I'm gonna go ahead and record it on the floor just so you can get like a shot of me walking to my desk. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. All I'm gonna do is place my phone on the floor. I don't need a tripod for this. You can use it if you want, but I'm just gonna put it on the floor. Okay, so for this shot, this is going to be a little bit more creative than your standard creative shots, I guess, but we're going to utilize a mirror to get our face or our facial expressions as we are doing our activity. So I do have a loose mirror. You can find a mirror anywhere. You can go to the dollar store and get a mirror. You can use your compact mirror for like your makeup, whatever you have, utilize that, or anything that has a reflection on it. But for me, I do have a big round mirror, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna position my phone on my tripod so that it's going to see me and what I'm doing from like a certain angle towards like my back, and then you can see my facial expressions on the mirror. So we're gonna go ahead and set that up and record. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and position it right here, and then what we're gonna do is I'm gonna grab my mirror and then I'm gonna position it behind so it's like a little bit more natural. It doesn't seem too fake, but maybe like somewhere over here, and then I will adjust myself or adjust the mirror. So now I'm gonna go ahead and sit down, and then how you're gonna adjust it is you're just going to adjust the mirror until you can see your camera. So we'll see how that looks, because I can see the camera, but I don't know how that's gonna look. So the next shot that we're gonna do is a close-up of our hands, because our hands are always doing something, whether if we're riding or if we're going on a walk or if we're driving. Our hands are always doing something. So it's going to paint a little bit of a picture of like what's going on in your actual video. So we're gonna go ahead and get a close-up of our hands. And that's the shot. Okay, so now for the next shot, we're gonna do a walk into the shot, but we're gonna start from recording from our back. So basically it's gonna be like a blackout screen, and then we're gonna walk away from the camera, and it's gonna show kind of like what we're doing or where we're going. So I'm gonna go ahead and just set up the camera right here so you can see it. And then I'll go ahead and hit record. And then we're gonna start with as close to the camera as possible. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then we're just gonna walk to our destination. Tap, 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 then turn around and leave. And then you can do walk back if you want, and then walk out of the screen. So it's like two different shots, but in one. Now the next shot is going to be a time lapse of what you're doing. It doesn't have to be the actual time lapse mode of your camera, but it can be. So you can utilize that, or you can go ahead and just record like a longer video, or I guess like however long you want. Time lapse is better if you're actually going to record like a lengthy video. So let's say like you're recording the sky and like you're watching, or you're recording as like the sun turns into the moon, then that would be a really long video. So you would utilize the time lapse mode on your phone. But for me, I'm only doing a little bit. So I'm just going to record a regular video at 4K 30 frames per second, and then I'm gonna go ahead and just speed it up within my video editor so it just looks like it is a time lapse. So we're gonna go ahead and record that, and you record that at any angle, but since we got more close-up shots, I'm gonna go ahead and pretty much get maybe an angle over here, and then I'm going to get it from kind of afar. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna go ahead and place the camera right over here, and then I'm just gonna do a bunch of like fast motion things. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up different windows and just kind of cycle through them. I'm gonna go ahead and just like move my head around a lot so it looks like this is an actual time lapse. Maybe open up YouTube, scroll a little bit. I'll go ahead and write in my journal and then think and look around. For this clip, we're gonna go ahead and drag it down, and then I'll stretch it out a bit. Just go ahead and cut down at the beginning and the end where you don't want, where basically what you don't want included in your B-roll. So we're gonna do the same thing here. We're going to move the line to where we want to first cut it. We're going to delete the beginning. We're gonna do the same thing with the end. Make sure your clip is selected, and in the top, you're gonna select speed, and then you're going to adjust it to however you want it to look. So let's say we go for right here. We can go ahead and play it back, and then it's gonna look super fast, and it's gonna look a tiny bit choppy, but if you're not actually recording a time lapse on your phone, then this is a good secondary option for you, especially if you're not going to record like an entire hour up to 2 hours of footage. You're just recording yourself doing stuff for like a good like 2 minutes like I did here. So this would be a really good time lapse to utilize, especially if I'm using it for B-roll where I'm talking about like me working or me hyper focused on tasks or me doing research. I can utilize this specific B-roll for multiple videos and multiple explanations that I basically describe in my videos. The next shot is going to be a push in and a pull out. Now, we are the subject of our video, so there's two different ways that we're gonna go about this. One is we are actually gonna physically go in and then come out, and that's just gonna be recording our setting because we're not gonna be able to be in two different places at once. And then the second way we're gonna do this is we are just going to set up the camera, hit record, and then in editing, we're gonna go ahead and zoom in and zoom out. So I'm gonna go ahead and do both of that right now. For me, I'm gonna go ahead and set up the camera right over here. And I'm actually gonna make this a bit of a peeking shot. So then it's gonna look like this. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of the way. And I'm just gonna be working. There's nothing specific that I have to be doing here, but I'll just be working and doing what I do. Okay, I think we're rolling. Hello. And I would say give it like 15 seconds, 20 if you want to be safe. So how you would edit this clip is you're gonna go ahead, drag it to your timeline, and then you're first gonna determine where you want the pan to begin. So maybe I want it to start like right here. I'll go ahead and make sure the line is hovering over that section or that very specific part I want to split it. And then we're gonna go ahead and make sure the clip is selected, select split, and then delete the beginning. And then we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing for the end, what we don't want included in our B-roll. So I'm gonna go ahead and split that, delete the end. I'm going to stretch it out. And then from here, you're gonna do the same thing that we did with the panning side to side. We're gonna go ahead, bring the line all the way to the beginning. We're gonna go ahead, select the clip, and then right under transform, or next to transform, you're going to click on the diamond that says add keyframe. Then over here, we're gonna go ahead and select it all the way at the end. Make sure that the line lines up with the end. And then we're gonna go ahead and adjust the scale. So then we're going to zoom in, maybe at 140. And if we were to watch it from the beginning, this is what it would look like from beginning to end. And this is a 13-second long clip. So we can add this to our B-roll library. And then in the future, if you want to utilize any section of this clip, you can go ahead and just trim it down and use what you want to use. We will go ahead and do the actual physical push in and pull out. So I'm gonna get it at an angle, and this is gonna be more of like, this will be more like an establishing shot, I guess, just to establish that we are working in my office. So it'll look like this, and I will actually, okay, yeah. And I'm gonna go ahead and pull out. What I like to do is I like to make sure I'm focused on a specific subject within my frame, and then I pull in, or I push in and I pull out based on that subject of the frame. So for me, I'm gonna be focusing on my screen, and then I'm actually gonna go at different angles and do the same motion. So push in and pull out. So we did it from the back, now we're gonna go ahead and do it from the side. You can get a little closer if you want, it's up to you. And I like to make sure that my subject is centered in my frame. When you are getting this kind of shot, you wanna use your legs. You don't want to use your arms. You can, but there's more stability if you hold your phone still and then you kind of move around utilizing your legs. So that will give you more stability within the shot so that you don't have to worry about it as you're editing. The next shot is going to be a top-down view. Now this has become such a creative angle for a lot of creators, and so you have to get pretty creative on how you're going to film this. Now you can either tape your phone to the ceiling and record from there, or you can try different objects in your home or try to utilize your tripod to get this shot. I'll try to put it up here instead. If we go ahead and put all of this footage all together, this is what the final outcome is going to look like. I'm someone who is super into storytelling when it comes to video and content creation, and not only that, I'm super into aesthetic content as well. So if you're someone who's interested in creating aesthetic reels and shorts, then you're gonna wanna check out this video popping up on the screen. Go ahead and meet you there. Peace out and action.